Hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to the Thursday Night Newsroom, that fun little thing we do where we talk about the news, we all give our views, and we try and make it through this crazy thing that we call life. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am sometimes known as the kid in the lid. I am sometimes known as the chap in the cap. On occasion, I'm called the common man with common sense, but in this moment, above all else, I am your host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, please do me some favors as always. Number one, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Number two, hit the bell for notifications. Number three, leave a comment in chat. Number four, share the link around. And number five, do all that every moment of the day that you are alive, people. Let's spread the word and make Fedora Nation the biggest, coolest audience on the internet. There you go. Hostess with the mostest. That's right, WWG1. You most certainly have that right. Yes, sir, I am. Host with the most. There you go. Oh, it's going to be fun tonight. We got a great live stream planned for you guys. Lots of stories to talk about. Lots of memes have been chimed in by everybody. So, yeah, we're going to have some fun this evening. People are starting to settle into their seats on the electronic front porch. And we will go to the YouTube side to see who is here so far. Z Highness is in the house. You good-looking thing, you. Woo, Lord. Oh, surrounded by all these lovely ladies. Here's another one. Gypsy's in the house. Mwah. Hello, gorgeous. Let's see. Lana is here. I got your contribution to the show tonight, my dear, and we will be showing it a little bit later. So thank you very, very much. All right, let's see who's over on Rumble. Well, the Wingnuts are fully assembled. God help all of us. Look, there are a lot of reasons why people watch this live stream. And I think part of it is just to see what kind of insane silliness is going to come from the Rumble commentary. Okay, because the OG Wingnuts rule that chat like nothing you've ever seen before. They are straight crazy. TBA is in the house. Here I am. Wow, WWG1, you've been mining the memes tonight. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, sir. WWG1 is definitely here. Yes, so TBA says we're allowed to be insane and silly. Like I could stop you anyway, gentlemen? Seriously? Like even if I told you not to do it, like you're going to listen to me? No, the host has no control. Little to no control over what happens on that side of the chat. Exactly. Very true indeed. All right. So glad to have you guys here with us this evening. Like I say, we got a really good live stream lined up for you. And yeah, lots to talk about tonight. So let's just dive right in and we'll get down to business. We will start, as is our wont, with the merry memes. Now, yeah, that's right. This could be one of the mottos of the OG Wingnuts on Rumble. Power to the people. You got that right, sister. For you. Oh, goodness me. You know, talking about the merry memes, much has been said indeed about, you know, all these memes that managed to find their way onto this live stream. And, you know, it sort of begs a very interesting question. Are we borrowing these memes from other people, or are we stealing these memes from other people? Well, I don't know. I sort of like to look at this as an issue that, you know, we're borrowing because, you know, God forbid we be accused of stealing, because honestly, you know, we don't steal memes, you know. Now, some people tend to take their opinion about what they do with memes to some extremes here, but generally speaking, we don't like to think of ourselves as stealing memes, okay? These guys, however, they're taking it just a little bit too far, I think. Just a little bit too far. Now, TBA TBA is over on Rumble making untoward comments toward one of his fellow chatters. WWG1 does not steal all of his memes, sir. I beg your pardon. That is very untoward. Really? My goodness. Goodness me. I tell you what. Sometimes, it's just, you just got to crack the whip on these people. You just can't let, honey, we're going to get into that. Hold that thought, honey. We're going to get into that. We are definitely going to get into that. I saw that comment. Hang on one second. I gotta have a sip of tea here. English breakfast tea. Nothing quite like it. No. There's not a patent on memes at this point, but some people tend to get very sensitive about that sort of thing. Very sensitive indeed. All right, what else do we have going on out here? I tell you what. The older we get, the more we tend to look back on childhood with a lot of fondness for a lot of reasons. The things we used to do, the friends we had when we were young, the simpler times and what have you. And you know what? There are other reasons to look back fondly on our childhood because, when you get to a certain point in life, honestly, you remember what things didn't hurt. For example, your back. So, yeah, a lot of people, to them, that's their favorite memory of childhood. The fact that my back didn't kill me. I tell you the truth. Anyway, we'll see how well that one goes over. Anyhow. Yeah, goodness me. What else is going on? Oh, my Lord. Look who just rolled into the house. Professor Tie-Dye. JL, we raise a glass in your general direction, and I give you a fist bump. Because, daggone it, you're just that cool. Zippy is in the house this evening. Zippy is here. Hang on a minute. What's going on? Zippy's back in the house. Oh, my goodness. Woo, the party's getting started, y'all. Everybody's coming in, and it's going to be a good time tonight on the electronic front porch. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. Oh, goodness me. Zippy's here. Professor Tie-Dye is here. And yes, TBA is absolutely right over on Rumble. Hit that thumbs up, y'all. Believe me, it's getting better every day. It's getting better every day, my friends. Totally getting better every single solitary day. Now, on another front, we think back our childhood with fondness. We think about places in the world with fondness. And for me, I love the city of London. Okay. Having visited there many years ago when I was a kid, I love the history. I love the architecture. I love everything else about it. But the city's changing quite a bit. I mean, honestly, there were one of the things I was looking forward to, and I didn't get a chance to do it when I was in London, was to find that iconic, spot on Abbey Road where the Beatles made their legendary walk and the picture that went with it. Well, London's changed quite a bit since then, and instead of Abbey Road, these days it's Abbey Shahid. So, to me, call me crazy if you wish, but I think that old picture of John, Paul, George, and Ringo going across this intersection, to me, was better than what's currently going on in London. But, people accuse me occasionally of being closed-minded. I don't know. I don't know that I am. This just doesn't get it for me. It just doesn't get it for me, I tell you what. Not feeling it. Good evening. Speaking of fondness for childhood cities, I DM'd on X the DFL endorse. What? Of Omar. Oh, really? Really? That's interesting. Take a look at that a little bit later. Yeah, Mohammed Road. Oh, I know. I mean, I'm sitting here making a joke about it, but it's tragic. It is absolutely tragic. What's that? Oh, they pulled that. They pulled that. Oh, that's very untoward on the part of Twitter. Hmm. Kind of feel like St. George Cross is being. Really, I had not heard about that. Shoot me a link on that if you would not mind. Never mind. TBA over on Rumble says, "Make the Crusades great again." Now wait a minute. We're not. No, you're not. You're not going to stir it. You guys are not going to stir it up this early in my live stream over there on Rumble. Oh my Lord. Make the Crusades great again. Ay, ay, ay. Jeez. You got to keep an eye on them, folks. You got to keep a total eye on them. Now, in America, we got, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everything is perfect in the area of, in the area of immigration and controlling our border and what have you. But I tell you what, we have goals here in America. We have dreams. We have aspirations. As a matter of fact, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of like Tom Homan. I want to see so many illegals deported that I will never have to press 1 again for English when I call somebody. Like I said, America, we've got goals, we got dreams, we have ambitions, and by golly, we're going to make it happen. So I don't know. Maybe it would make a great presidential campaign promise if the next presidential candidate comes out and says, "We're gonna get it. So whenever you call somewhere, you're not going to press 1 or 2. No, you're just going to get English." America is right, TBA. America is right. Oh yeah, totally. When I get the chance to watch podcast of the Lotus Eaters, Carl Benjamin's channel, and you hear the stories that are coming out of Great Britain, oh, it just absolutely breaks the heart. Absolutely breaks the heart. Oh goodness me! Oh, thank you, dear. I will definitely take a look at that. Appreciate it. Well, you know what? Matter of fact, hang on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Oh, this is interesting. Talking about London, you know what? We got a little bit of time on our hands here. I'll pop this up on screen. Give me a second, folks. Lana, or M169, as you guys know her, sent me something. I think you guys might find this interesting, given that we just kind of made a reference to what's going on in Great Britain. Give me a second here, folks, and I'll get this thing up on screen for you. Let you guys see it for yourselves. One moment, please. Yeah, let me pop this up here, and you guys, yeah, it's a 30-second clip, and take it for what it's worth. Here you go. Well, there you go. There you go, indeed. So, wait a minute. Did everybody see that? Or am I just losing my mind here? Or did I pop that in the wrong place? I think I just popped that in the wrong place. Ah, geez. Hang on. I am having... Yeah, hold for processing is right. Because every so often the host is just a thoroughgoing nitwit. Give me 1 second here, folks. Hang on. Sometimes I'm good at what I do and sometimes not so much. Ah, here we go. That's what I intended. All right, hang on a second. Let's try this again, folks. Because, yeah, your host is techno challenged sometimes. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Okay. Now, Lana also sent me an article to go see it. Okay, cool. Now, see, your host finally got it right. All right. So, the significance of the St. George's crosses. Let me see if this news article came through. Give me 1 second, folks. It just interests me. Interests me indeed. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah, really. Expect someone to say, oi, you have a permit for that red paint? Yeah, it wouldn't. With Keir Starmer's government, it would not surprise me at all. Seriously. Absolutely ridiculous what goes on over there. Oh, what else do we have in the way of the merry memes? You guys remember the Chucky movies from the 1980s and early 90s? I do. I mean, some pretty scary stuff, to be perfectly honest. Now, most people remember or may not remember that the voice for Chucky was done by legendary character actor Brad Dourif, who, by the way, was born in Huntington, West Virginia. Just a little hometown trivia for all you folks out there in internet land. But contrary to what you have heard, there was a child that played the actual body, the actual Chucky doll. Okay, it wasn't animatronics. It wasn't anything like that at all. As a matter of fact, somebody, I think it may have been even TMZ, recently caught up with the child actor who portrayed Chucky. But I don't know about you guys, but and I think Chucky's kind of fallen on hard times. Yeah, I don't know. Chucky, this guy looks like he's going through a bad patch. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, but if he is going through a bad spot, hopefully he will overcome. He will overcome. Anyhow, yeah. Scary now, scary back then. He could get work if he wanted to do it. I don't know how much work he wants to put in. I'm saying. Gypsy says, going back to that story about Great Britain, the English lad I watched this AM, he was on a manor in old English countryside, taken over. The amount of English people who chastise him for, oh man, wow, that's a crying shame. And WWG1 over on Rumble says, the St. George's cross is a red cross on a white background that symbolized Christian victory and devotion to the popular saint, St. George. It was used by Christian knights during the Crusades for protection and identification. And TBA says, and like I said, WWG1, bring back the Crusades. TBA, will you stop it over there? Look, we got enough war going on in the Middle East enough as is. Yikes. Well, hello, Sculpt. Boom, good evening to you. Glad to see you in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, goodness me. It's turning into a party, y'all. It really is. My goodness. All right. What else? What else do we have in the way of the merry memes this evening? One moment, folks. Let me pull up my list and see what is still on the menu for tonight. You know, talking about the Crusades, or maybe it's better to say talking about you know, biblical times, made me think of something today. You know, we all work and live in our lives trying to do the best that we can. Hopefully, the day shall come when we all hear the phrase, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Now, that phrase is appropriate for a lot of things, but I wholeheartedly and totally agree with whoever did this meme. Well done is for good and faithful servants. It's not for your steaks. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So, yeah, appropriate to, life's work, not so appropriate to the meat you eat. Call me crazy. However, full disclosure, there was a time when I was a well done man when it came to steaks. You couldn't move me off that position. And then with the passing of time, finally I just took the plunge and said, you know what, I want to try a steak rare. And boy, I got a hold of a good one. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. It was quite tasty. Zippy's over on Rumble says a well done steak is just dried roast. Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that one at all, my friend. Not wrong about that one at all. Now, for those of you out there who are well done steak eaters, God, we love you. We do love you. But just this is one of those places we're going to agree to disagree. But we still love you. We will have you as part of Fedora Nation. But no, can't go there with you. Nope, can't do it. A lot of people, 2000, well, as with every year, let me just start with that. As with every year, we hear about the passing of, individuals who've been parts of our life. And it really does tug on the heartstrings. And 2026 is no different. As a matter of fact, we've recently suffered a passing that I don't quite know. I don't quite know what we're going to do with this one. I was sent a message about this, and this is definitely worth talking about tonight. I don't know if you have heard about the passing of the Cracker Barrel logo, but apparently it's on its way up to logo heaven with several other famous logoes waiting for it at the pearly gates. So yes, let us all take a moment and acknowledge the passing of the Cracker Barrel logo. All right, a moment of silence, if you please. Okay, enough of that. We're going to get into this Cracker Barrel thing because I tell you what, I was having a discussion with a lady the other evening, and as we are wont to do, we'll talk to each other on the phone about a lot of different things, and we got into the subject of what's going on with Cracker Barrel, and I said, why do I have the strange feeling that we are headed for Bud Light 2.0? And before I really dive into that topic, I want to thank WWG1. I want to thank M169. I want to thank Adam. I want to thank a whole bunch of people for all the contributions and the memes. If you come across a meme that you think is funny and you really want people on the electronic front porch to see it, tag me on Twitter with it. Again, the host reserves the right to choose to use or not use said meme. But hey, throw it at me. I'm willing to take a look at it. More often than not, these memes make their way to the live stream. So, as always, we thank you for your contributions. Let's dive into this topic, okay? All right. When I was getting my channel started about 3 years ago now, wow, time's flying. One of the topics that I covered was the reaction of beer drinkers in America to the ad campaign that Bud Light did that employed Dylan Mulvaney, famous trans activist. And the reaction was so bad. I mean, the parent company for Bud Light was absolutely getting shellacked in every way imaginable. It got so bad you couldn't give away Bud Light in stores, at stadiums, at baseball parks. Didn't matter where they sold Bud Light. You couldn't move the stuff. It was literally sitting on shelves for weeks and months at a time. Whereas other beers like Modelo, Michelob Ultra, name the competitors. They were all cleaning up on this. And it took probably a good, if I'm wrong on this, you guys correct me in my memory, but in my recollection, it took a good, oh yeah, Z Highness, they did. People were avoiding Bud Light like the plague. Okay. And I think in my recollection, it took about a good 9 months, maybe a year, before people started coming back and being willing to buy Bud Light, which part of it was Bud Light went out and employed Shane Gillis for one of their Super Bowl commercials, along with a couple other people who weren't woke. Okay. They weren't trying to shove whatever down the throat of their consumers. Now, this Cracker Barrel situation, at least on its face, is a little bit different. At least so far as I have found out, okay? But I mean, it's worth talking about. Cracker Barrel has been in existence since 1969, okay? I've got an article here from the Associated Press, which I'm going to get into all this here in just 1 second. But I'm trying to set the table for it, for what we're going to talk about in this. So I've got an article here. Hang on 1 second. Let me get this thing set up correctly. Un momento, por favor. Now, for those of you who maybe you haven't heard about this yet, or you haven't seen it, Cracker Barrel made a decision to rebrand, which, okay, fine. Every company has a right to change its branding. Do I always counsel that they should do that? Not necessarily, but they have the right to do it depending on their circumstances and what they think their needs are. So Cracker Barrel has been spending a lot of money lately to rebrand themselves, and they've changed the logo. Now, if you have not seen this yet, the logo on your left over here is the traditional logo for Cracker Barrel. Old school, nice touch, everything else. The one on the right is what they are now going to start using. Now, call me crazy if you wish, and I'm sure you will, but that one on the right looks as generic as all. There's nothing. I'm sorry. And with all due respect to the people who run Cracker Barrel, there is nothing about that logo that has any ounce of originality, any ounce of charisma. It is just, that's a Z Highness. That is a great word to describe it. Sterile. There's nothing about, no personality at all. None. I mean, this guy over here, this is old school. It's iconic. It's everything you would kind of expect Cracker Barrel to be. Okay. And it's not just an issue. It's not just an issue that Cracker Barrel has decided to change their logo. Oh no, they're going further than that. They've actually decided to change the interior of their restaurants, which again, that's their right to do it. That's fine. I get it. Okay. But okay, all right. I want an answer on this one from you guys. I'm serious. Here's what the picture over here on the left. This is up to now, a traditional looking Cracker Barrel. Okay. You could go to most any Cracker Barrel in the country, and most of them, with the exceptions of the one being rebranded, of course, they would look like this. They'd have a deer's head hanging up. They have a big fireplace. They'd have, the old school oak chairs, the American flag, etc. Right? And maybe some of this will be retained with the newly redesigned stores. Okay. But this is what you expect a Cracker Barrel to look like, right? you're going for old school country charm. Okay. This one on the right is a picture of what one of the newly designed Cracker Barrels is going to look like. WWG1, that second picture looks like a McDonald's or a Taco Bell. Well, I mean, and it's funny you bring up McDonald's. McDonald's has to be, and forgive me, I'm getting sidetracked here, but he brought it up. I may as well say it. McDonald's is just as bad right now as Cracker Barrel in one sense. Go to any McDonald's anywhere in the country as currently designed. Okay. I'm not talking about the ones from, let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago, which had bright colors and they were kind of kid friendly. The ones being designed now are just gray on the outside. They have no, and again, to use Z Highness's term, sterile. Yeah, they look like a bank. They look like you're walking into your local branch bank office. Yep. You're getting no argument from me on this. You're getting no argument from me at all on this one. This, to me, this Cracker Barrel thing is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And the irony of it, there may or may not be any wokeness behind this decision. That's the funny part. I mean, again, I'm not saying that the people who are doing this are totally devoid of woke or SJW or whatever. But as far as I can tell, as far as I've found out so far, just myself, I haven't heard anybody say, this is because we feel like, the logo and the interior, they're old school values. We're trying to modernize. We're trying to go for a modern audience, that sort of thing. It's just they've made the decision to rebrand, which again, totally their right to do it. But I'm telling you right now, I'm getting the bad feeling. We're headed for Bud Light 2.0. WWG1 over on Rumble says, at least you don't have to wait an extra hour for your wife to hang around the gift shop. WWG1, I have bad news for you. I think the gift shops are staying in. What I saw, I didn't have this one ready to go tonight, but I saw a video of one of the interior of the newly designed. The gift shop is staying in. I got bad news for you, brother. That extra hour you thought you were going to save, it ain't happening. You're still going to lose it. Seriously. Gypsy says, honestly, I thought Cracker Barrel already did this. I remember a big controversy over the name, and especially the barrel reference during the George Floyd summer. Maybe this has been in the works for a while. And it's just now starting to come to fruition. It's just, I don't know. This to me, and by the way, lest you think I'm being provincial or I'm being whatever, I don't think I'm the only one that feels this way about what Cracker Barrel is doing right now. But they've made the decision. This is what they want to do. So I've got a story here from the Associated Press, and I'll pop this up on screen for you guys because there needs to be, I guess, a little bit of explanation as to why they're doing this. From the Associated Press, headline, Cracker Barrel unveils a new logo as part of a wider rebrand effort, sparking ire among some online. It's, don't know who the author of this article is, but let's just roll into it. Cracker Barrel is marching forward with its ongoing makeover, and to the dismay of some fans, the chain's new logo now ditches the barrel itself. Or rather, the drawing many have associated with Cracker Barrel over the years, the man leaning on the barrel is also gone, as are the words Old Country Store. Instead, the new emblem features a simpler design with just Cracker Barrel written on a gold background, which also has a semi-updated shape. Quote, anchored in Cracker Barrel's signature golden brown tones, the updated visuals will appear across menus and marketing collateral, the Tennessee-based company wrote in a Tuesday announcement. Cracker Barrel added that its logo is now rooted, quote, now rooted even more closely to the iconic barrel shape and word mark that started it all. According to Cracker Barrel, This latest look marks the brand's, quote, fifth evolution of the logo to date. It was unveiled as part of a campaign from the company called All the More, which also advertises some new fall menu items. A little further into the article, Cracker Barrel's been working on a wider rebrand for some time beyond a new logo that's included remodeling its country-style restaurants and retail stores. The company began ramping up its overall effort last year by swapping out older, more antique-filled designs with lighter paint and modern furniture. Okay. Founded in 1969, Cracker Barrel operates nearly 600 stores across the United States today. Those attached to the chain's previous look have been quick to express ire about both the new logo and restaurant remodels online. Quote, "Our values haven't changed, and the heart and soul of Cracker Barrel haven't changed," Cracker Barrel said in a statement sent to the Associated Press on Thursday. The company added that the man on its former logo, known as Uncle Herschel, quote, "remains front and center in our restaurants and on our menus as he represents the Herschel way, which is, quote, the foundations of how our 70+ thousand employees provide country hospitality for which we are well known." Well, guys, they've screwed up. Oh, we're going to get to that, dear. We're going to get to that. Well, maybe it came up, but they held off on doing it. Look, you may be right about this, Gypsy. I'm just saying. Maybe they've had this thing going on for a while. Maybe they started talking about it back then. I don't know. But, oh, yeah, you're right about that. It's been all over X. All over. So that's their justification for doing this. Okay. And again, to the best of my knowledge, there's no ill intent. There's no woke. There's no SJW. They just made the decision to rebrand. Now, I've got a feeling that this is going to backfire enormously on Cracker Barrel. But they've made the decision. They're going forward with it. Now, as you might expect, especially when there's change, the company, high-ups and poobahs got out there on the press circuit to try and talk to people and let them know what is going on and try to massage the feelings of the public. Well, here's a snippet of an interview with Michael Strahan from Good Morning America with the CEO of Cracker Barrel. Listen to this.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and once every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Okay, I have a question. Okay. Forgive me because I'm having a Columbo moment here. Just one more thing there, ma'am. Just one question there. Can somebody explain to me if someone's got examples of this, I'd love to see it. Please somebody show me examples of where the employees were complaining about the decor and the logo of Cracker Barrel. Oh, they all want to work in this new environment we're creating. Really? Really? Well, like I said, the CEO went out and tried to do damage control. Now, this interview wasn't today. I think it's either Tuesday or Wednesday was when this interview took place. And the reaction after the interview happened was very much what you might expect. A lot of people asked a very simple question, and the question went like this:
why are you gay?
Yeah. Now, again, lest you think I'm exaggerating about this, I don't know if they asked, why is she gay? But they definitely looked at Cracker Barrel and went, is something wrong with you guys? What the heck is the matter with you? Because turns out the public ain't buying what Cracker Barrel's trying to sell right now, okay? It's really not trying. They're really not buying it. Matter of fact, we got some more reaction to the rebranding and the redesign, and it's quite interesting what's happening out there. Matter of fact, let me play some of this for you. This is from employees of the Cracker Barrel.
We're Cracker Barrel. Of course we serve breakfast all day.
We're Cracker Barrel. Of course we're going to know when you put a photo in the restaurant.
We're Cracker Barrel. Of course we have pay games on every table.
Listen, we fucked up.
Yeah, I think that's kind of becoming obvious to everybody right now. And if you really want some proof of how badly Cracker Barrel screwed this thing up, oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's been alluded to already, but we got to get into this because, right now, they are hurting. They are absolutely hurting. And if you don't believe me, check out this story from CNBC. Cracker Barrel shares plummet after pushback on new logo and brand refresh. Article by Ali McCadden. We've got the following. Shares of Cracker Barrel Old Country Store plummeted roughly 10% on Thursday after the restaurant unveiled its new logo earlier this week as part of a larger brand refresh. The new logo removed the image of the man leaning against a barrel that was prominently featured in the original, leaving just behind the words Cracker Barrel against a yellow background. The phrase Old Country Store has also been removed. The company said the colors in the logo were inspired by the chain's scrambled eggs and biscuits. Really? Okay, now hold on now. I'm from the South, and even I know better than to sit there and say, well, yeah, that's what yellow egg looked like. No, y'all are just full of crap. Absolutely full of crap. All right, back to this article. The change is part of a, quote, strategic transformation to revitalize the brand that started back in May of 2024. Under that mission, Cracker Barrel's refresh includes updates to visual elements, restaurant spaces, and food and beverage offering, and retail offering, Cracker Barrel said in March that the refresh still will maintain the, quote, rich history of country hospitality and authentic charm that's made the brand a beloved destination for generations of families. Quote, we believe in the goodness of country hospitality. A spirit has always defined us. Our story hasn't changed. Our values haven't changed. Chief Marketing Officer Sarah Moore said in a release. Oh, guys, you notice what they're doing here. They're trying to convince everybody we haven't changed. Really, we haven't changed. Honest to God, we haven't changed. Our values haven't changed. We're not going woke. We're not, guys, I'm getting suspicious here. I'm getting really suspicious about this. I'm telling you. WWG1 says, now we know what going to the bottom of the barrel looks like. You are not necessarily wrong, my friend. You are not necessarily wrong. 10%. It may have been as high as 12 at one point. May have, yeah. They hello, Jessica. Gorgeous. No, we haven't changed. Really, we haven't changed. Our values are still the same. We're still the same company we always were. Now you're making me really suspicious. Why do I get the distinct feeling you guys are doing it, but you're not saying why? You're changing the way you look. You're getting rid of the old logo. You're getting rid of everything else. Why do I get the express feeling that this is not just about some kind of brand refresh, that you guys are, you're a little uncomfortable with the way you look or think, and maybe it's not even an issue of being woke. Maybe it's just, we don't want to be, look, CBS went through this back in the late 60s and early 70s. There was so much, quote, country content on CBS that they started chopping off shows. Gunsmoke, among others, and finally it's like, and maybe Cracker Barrel's thinking the same thing. Oh, maybe we're just a little too country for all these places we're at, I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, fair, and I don't disagree with that either. Hello, small time. Glad to have you in the audience tonight. But yeah, this is, I mean, they're trying to convince everybody they haven't changed. They're still the same, you know. Oh, so it's up to 12. Oh, they're down in, oh, that must be aftermarket. Okay. Thank you for that. They're trying to convince everybody of this, and nobody's buying it. Matter of fact, I pulled a chart. Let me refresh this real quick before I put it up there. Okay. In after hours trading, they're bouncing back a little bit. Not a lot, but they took a hit today. They dropped like 7.5%. I mean, look at that. Trading open this morning, and boom, it hit the bottom. Woo! I mean, now granted, it's 1 day's worth of trading. That's just ugly. That is just plain ugly. My God. Now, after hours trading, they bounced back a little bit. But folks, do not be surprised at all. Don't be surprised at all if this slide continues. And if it starts coming out that they did this for woke or SJW reasons or whatever, oh, you think that they suffered bad today? Watch out, because it will get worse. Well, that's a really good point. The more this gets talked about on social media, the worse this slide may get. I mean, we'll see what happens. WWG1 says Nancy Pelosi bought $1 million worth of short stocks, shorting the stock on Cracker Barrel yesterday. Interesting indeed. Interesting. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, it's bad. It is bad. Now, to give you an idea of just how bad it is, we've even got some reaction from current. Well, actually, I take that back. We have reaction. The fellow in the old logo, the gentleman sitting leaning up against the barrel. We even got his reaction to all this. Okay. He's come out and made a public statement about it. He's not happy. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and check this out.
Hello, I'm the cracker from Cracker Barrel. And y'all know I sat on that damn logo for 48 damn years. Longer than a snake deep throating a giraffe neck. Then overnight, you got this diverse, evil, ignorant, or DEI group of people taking over our marketing, talking about we need a rebrand. Then poof, I'm going faster than a black man driving through Alabama. How you gonna rebrand without debrand? I'm the goddamn reason people come to Cracker Barrel. How you gonna have a place called Cracker Barrel without a cracker leaning on a barrel? I mean, what's next, America? A black female Popeyes manager that doesn't fight her customers.
Oh my goodness.
Cracker Barrel needs a cracker and a barrel. And I'm the coldest cracker son of a bitch to ever lean on a barrel this side of a Mississippi. Hell, maybe both sides. But don't you go worry about your old boy Cracker. I got a little nest egg and I'll find something to lean on. I always have. But it's a damn shame what y'all done let happen to old Barrel.
Oh my goodness. Well, quite obviously he's upset about the situation. Woo! Oh yeah, the former logo guy, he not feeling it, folks. He not feeling it at all. WWG wasn't. Holy F, that's funny. Look, I am not one to laugh through the pain and tragedy of people who have lost their job. So I will reserve my comments about whether I think that one was funny or not, but I freely allow you your opinion, sir. Really? You didn't know he could talk? Well, Jessica, this is why coming to my live stream is beneficial to everybody. I try to dispense as much information, things that you didn't know, you find out when you come to the electronic front porch. So, I know you're a regular here anyway, but bless your heart. Come on back, darling. We love to have you here. We love to have you here. Yeah. Who knew the barreled guy could talk? Eh. No, in all seriousness though, I got a feeling this story, oh man. You just missed one of the best shenanigans. That's all I'm saying. Uh, okay. I mean, widely circulated about saying a Cracker Barrel is a barrel that held whips for sale at the country store. See the whip going from R to K. I'm not going crazy. See, I knew you were right. I knew you were right about this. There you go. Yeah, apparently it's been talked about for a while, and they kicked it around, and now they're doing it. I'm telling you, I got the feeling this story's not over with yet. And I really do believe, I could be wrong, but I really do believe we're headed for Bud Light 2.0. Maybe not as severe, maybe not whatever, but I'm not going to be shocked if this company gets more backlash than they ever expected. I don't think this story is over with yet. So we're going to keep an eye on it. As more information comes out, we'll share it with you guys. And if you guys find something about this that hasn't been talked about already, by all means, pass it on to me. You can find me on Twitter at TheFrontPorchC1. So tag me in a tweet. If you've got some information, let me know. There's a restaurant a little bit like Cracker Barrel called Machine Shed in Des Moines. Just FYI, it is so good. You know, I haven't been to Iowa in years. And, you know, I will always look for a good food recommendation. So Machine Shed. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you guys find stories related to this, pass them on to me because this is not done yet. I am telling you guys, I just get the feeling this one's not done yet. All right. Thank you for indulging me on this one. And we're going to move on to a different compartment of the train, as I like to say. But before we do, if you have happened upon this live stream and you're like, my goodness, who is this handsome devil and his fantastic broadcasting skills? Well, you found your way to the Electronic Front Porch, and my name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative. I've got a channel on YouTube, and I've got a channel on Rumble. Do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to both places. I would really appreciate it. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button tonight. It really does help with the algorithm, and leave a comment in chat. Also, go ahead and share the link around with your friends. Do all these things. Help us be a going big concern. We know we are a going little concern, but we would really love to become a going big concern. And with that, your host says thank you. All right. Let us move on to a different compartment of the train, as it were. And news broke today that for people on the right side of the political spectrum, or they are supporters of Donald J. Trump, it's kind of one of those deals where they looked at everybody and said, told you so. And in case you're wondering exactly what I'm referring to, you guys remember that case up in New York State that Letitia James brought against the Trump organization and Donald Trump and Don Jr. and Eric and everybody associated with the organization? And Judge Arthur Engeron ruled a $350 million penalty against the Trump organization on the grounds of bank fraud. The argument that Letitia James made was Trump went to these huge banks, secured loans for the Trump organization for purposes of real estate purchases, what have you, but they overstated the value of the assets of the Trump organization and thereby committed bank fraud. Now, everybody at the time said this is ludicrous. I mean, even people who didn't like Donald Trump said that the decision and the case were just absurd. If for no other reason that these banks aren't going to lend money unless they're very sure that they know the value of the collateral that's being pledged to secure the loans. So it was on its face absolutely absurd. But Engeron being Engeron and Letitia James being the vindictive wench that she is, I'm sorry, there's no other real way of saying it, pressed forward with all of it, and Arthur Engeron, the judge, hands down a $350 million judgment against the Trump Organization. Well, as you might expect, Trump Organization wasted no time, and they took it up the food chain. Well, guess what? The day of I told you so finally arrived. From Newsweek magazine, we've got the following. Headline, Trump gets major victory. Appeals court overturns New York City civil fraud penalty. Article written by Gabe Winsnat. We have the following. Dateline, New York City. An appeals court has overturned the massive civil fraud penalty against President Donald Trump, ruling Thursday in New York's lawsuit accusing him of inflating his wealth. The decision, which narrowly upheld a finding he engaged in fraud by exaggerating his wealth for decades, still bans him and his two eldest sons from serving in corporate leadership for a few years. It came 7 months after the Republican returned to the White House. A 5-judge panel of New York's appellate division concluded that the $515 million judgment, originally set at $355 million plus interest, was, quote, excessive and unconstitutional under the Eighth Amendment. Trump had managed to stave off an immediate collection by posting a $175 million bond earlier this year. That sum will now be repaid to the Trump Organization. Eric Trump, the president's son, posted on X, quote, total victory in the sham New York Attorney General case. After 5 years of hell, justice has prevailed. The appeals court, divided on the merits and the trial judge's fraud finding, threw out Judge Arthur Engeron's penalty in full, but left the door open for appeals to New York's highest court, the Court of Appeals. New York Attorney General Letitia James said on Thursday that her office plans to appeal the ruling. You know, I haven't necessarily chimed in about this one all day long, but on behalf of so many people, let me just say, hardy har, 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 har. Hey, Letitia, suck it. And the best part, well, I shouldn't say the best part, but there is a delicious irony in what may be about to happen. Letitia James herself is being investigated for mortgage fraud by special attorney Ed Martin on behalf of the Justice Department. There's the distinct possibility that Letitia committed mortgage fraud by listing some properties that she bought around the country as primary residence, and thereby allowing her to gain certain advantages on taxes, interest rates, etc., yada, yada, yada. Well, I mean, let's see where that goes. But yeah, Trump is, at least as far as the money part of it is concerned, he's off the hook. From my estimation, he didn't get a total victory, but daggone, this one's got to feel pretty good. Zippy over on Rumble says, well, property value is an absolute scam unless you're rich, but still, it's silly. I don't disagree with you. It's kind of, and to me, it's kind of amazing. I broadcast from this fine house that I live in. It's very nice. Is it the newest house in the world? No, but you know, for those of us on this part of town in which I live, it's a classic old Southsider. It's got about 1,550 square feet. And in a previous life, I worked in the mortgage business. And there was a time I was working on a mortgage loan for a gentleman who owned a house out in Seattle. Same square footage. House was built roughly the same period of time. His house was valued 3 times higher than mine. Same square footage. House had the same amount of age on it. And structurally, architecturally, the houses weren't all that different. But because of where he was, his property was worth 3 times more. The lady and I have had conversations about my house. And she's made the statement, because of where she lives. She's like, honey, if this house were in the town in which I reside, it'd be worth double what you're currently getting for it in appraised value. So yeah, I think Zippy, you're absolutely right. Property value is an absolute scam. WWG1 says, you live on the other side of the tracks, Brian. You know, I do live on the other side of the tracks, WWG1, but I'm no longer living in a cardboard box. Like the Jeffersons, I'm a moving on up. Just saying. Goodness me. Oh, good evening, sir. Kit Cabello from Hard Lens Media is in the house this evening. A hat tip to you. A hat tip of the fedora. Follow this man. Follow him on Rumble. Follow him on Twitter. And by the way, go check out the GoFundMe he's got posted on his Twitter page. If you really want to get an idea for some of what he's been going through, and if you want to help him out, check that out, my friends. That is meant for you. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it is. One of the best housing markets in the country right now. And you got a little bit of everything in my state. If you like an older home that you want to fix it up, you can buy one relatively cheap. Now, the cost of materials right now is still a little bit high, but if you want to find some good property, low cost property, and turn around, fix up, flip it, man, I'm telling you what, Charleston, Huntington, Wheeling, Parkersburg. I mean, I'm listing all major metropolitan areas in the state of West Virginia, but yeah, great place to find property and flip it. So, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate that. Appreciate that indeed. And give this guy a shout. Give him a like. Give him a comment. And give him some help if you can. Give him some help if you can. All right. What else is going on in the news? Oh. Did you guys hear that Donald Trump is going out with law enforcement and members of the National Guard tonight in Washington, D.C.? Did you guys hear about this? I got a story here, which I'll get to in a minute, but I want to play you something. And I found this just before I came on the air. I thought this was pretty cool. Donald Trump had the chefs at the White House prepare food for members of the National Guard and federal agents who are working in D.C. right now to try and clean up the streets. I want to show you this video because this is really kind of cool. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and check this out. I think this is really one of the coolest things I've seen in a while.
And I think you brought some food for him, didn't you, President?
So we have great hamburgers cooked by the White House, and we have pizza that I said, don't do it in the White House because we went to a place that makes the best pizza. So we'll concede. But we have a lot of it. So we're going to have some fun. We'll eat, and I'll eat with you, and we're going to have a little fun. We're going to celebrate, but then we're going to get back to work, and we're going to take care of these criminals. We're going to put them where they have to be. You're going to say, don't play around with us. Don't play around with us. So let's go have something to eat. You're going to like the hamburgers? Would you rather have hamburgers from the White House or pizzas from a good place? Huh? I think they want the hamburgers. Have a good time, everybody. Thank you very much.
Now, I'm sorry. That's kind of cool. Let me ask you guys this question. Could any of y'all see Joe Biden doing something like that? Could you see Kamala Harris doing something like that? Small Time asks an interesting, do you think Congress will extend the federalization of law enforcement in D.C. beyond? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I'll give you my take right now. I don't think they will. I really don't think they will. And Gypsy's voting hard no on that one. And I can understand where she's coming from. I don't think they'll do it. I will say this. I'll say this. I'm in the hope that the Congress takes up the question of whether or not D.C. ought to have home rule anymore. Now, for those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, the way that the District of Columbia is structured is they have a certain amount of home rule. They have a metropolitan city council, they have a mayor, they have a police department, etc. There was a time when there was no such thing like that in the District of Columbia. It was controlled exclusively by the Congress. Okay. But now they have limited home rule. Well, it's kind of becoming obvious that absent new political leadership at the mayor's level or the city council level, things aren't going to get any better in DC. Not as currently constituted. Maybe it's time that they revoke it. And I mean, look, do I want to see them extend this beyond the 30 days? Not really. Because like I said when this first got started, I'm not real comfortable with the idea of what's going on here. I mean, granted, you've got a crime problem in DC. I'm not disputing that. And I'm not saying something shouldn't be done about it, but I'm not real wild about the idea of us using National Guard and other federal law enforcement officials to take care of crime when that should be handled by the local municipality. Now, granted, DC is a little bit different in that you have the nation's capital inside an area that is, in one sense, no man's land. It doesn't belong to the Commonwealth of Virginia. It doesn't belong to Delaware. It doesn't belong to Maryland. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's just its own little island unto itself. But I don't really like this idea of, what we're doing here. Yeah, it's getting great results. I don't dispute any of that. But I think my thought on the matter is do not extend this beyond the 30 days of where it is right now. But the Congress, when they come back from their August break, they need to take up a very serious discussion of repealing home rule, put a bill on Trump's desk, let him sign it, and take control of the District of Columbia again, like they used to do. Because it's becoming painfully obvious. The current political leadership in D.C., because here's what's going to happen. I almost bet you I know what's going to happen. In 30 days, they'll get this stuff under control. They being the feds. They'll turn it back over to Muriel Bowser, the mayor of D.C., and the city council, and watch. Right back in the toilet we go again. I just think it's finally time. Repeal their home rule, and let's just take it over the way it used to be. Yeah, maybe they should. Maybe they should. Only the fact that it's the nation's capital. Yeah, you're probably right, Gypsy. That's what makes me sad about this. I mean, are the things that are being done, are they good in terms of the reduction in crime, the reduction in carjackings, the reduction in muggings and everything else? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. It's how we're getting there is the problem. And it's what's going to happen after it's over with. It's really going to be sad. Because like I said, they'll turn this back over to Muriel Bowser and the city council and just be like, oh, okay, well, thanks a lot. And we're not going to do anything. True. That is true. Yeah. I mean, like I say, I'm not totally comfortable with what's being done here at all. At all. But your point's valid. TBA over on Rumble says Muriel Bowser will be lucky if she isn't dragged up in front of military court for treason. A little bit harsh, but okay. Zippy says DC should be treated like any other state-controlled thing. Let the feds focus on protecting federal buildings and employees, etc. Okay, that's kind of going where Kawan's going with this. So, we'll see. Yeah, really. That's a great point. Absolutely great point. But to get to the story that preceded this video, give me 1 second, folks, and I'll get this pulled up. This is from Just the News with John Solomon. And No, I'm sorry. The article, Just the News, is John Solomon's website. Got a story here by Ben Whedon. So give me 1 second, folks. Headline: Officer Trump. President will patrol with D.C. law enforcement Thursday night. Article by Ben Whedon of justthenews.com. President Donald Trump plans to go on patrol with D.C. law enforcement Thursday evening to review his crackdown on crime, homelessness, and illegal immigration in the nation's capital. Quote, I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police and with the military, of course. We're going to do a job, he said on the Todd Starnes show. We're doing is sort of a test right now in D.C., Trump added. Unfortunately, we have many cities like that. During the interview, Trump suggested he was open to expanding his crackdown to other American cities, with Starnes urging the president to consider Memphis as a candidate for a similar operation. Quote, President Trump tells me that he's going out on patrol tonight with D.C. law enforcement and the military. Starnes confirmed in a social media post. Trump spoke with Starnes for roughly 20 minutes on Thursday morning, with the syndicated radio host airing the interview at noon. One other observation about all this, so Trump's going to go out with the police tonight, or the law enforcement. Kind of reminded me of something I remember from history. The great Russian leader Catherine the Great went on a tour around southeastern Russia in 1787. Interestingly enough, she went into the recently annexed area of the Crimea. And her lover, Grigory Potemkin, who was in charge of establishing new cities, new buildings in that area, well, he kind of pulled a fast one on Catherine, according to legend. The story goes that he put up these facades that looked like the front of houses and buildings, but they were on wheels. So her carriage would go riding by these facades, and after the carriage had gone by, it'd be moved on wheels to an area up ahead. And Catherine kept thinking that she was seeing all these new, beautiful, wonderful cities in the southern part of Russia. And the reality is her lover was faking her out. I really hope that sort of thing doesn't happen with Trump tonight. In other words, let him really see what's going on. Show him the good, show him the bad. Maybe I'm worrying too much about it in that aspect, but that happened. That historical reference happened to cross my mind. TBA says, I think Grigory Potemkin got hung eventually. It could be. Didn't go back and look that far into the history of it. All right, what else do we have going on in the news that's worth commenting about? Let's see. Oh, yes. Yes. A lot has been made lately of the troubles that the Democrats are going through. And WWG1 sent me a meme that kind of sets up this next article of discussion. You guys remember that scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail where King Arthur takes on the Black Knight, chops off his arms, chops off his legs, and the Black Knight like, come back, I'll gum you to death. Well, the Black Knight right now is akin to the Democrat Party. The Democrats are talking about coming back into power while they're polling at 21%. I thought this meme was great. I thought this meme was absolutely great. And it's so emblematic of the current state of the Democrat Party. Now, a lot can change between now and the next federal election. I acknowledge that. Okay? Yeah. 'Tis but a flesh. I cut off your arm. 'Tis but a flesh wound. See, this is why I love this audience. You guys have the best cultural references of anybody on the internet. You guys are fantastic. Now, I bring up that meme to kind of set up something that I found, and I heard about this. Like I said, the best references culturally on the internet to be found here on the Electronic Front Porch, compliments of Fedora Nation. Okay. I bring up that meme to bring up a story that I'd heard about, and I've got the author of it, a guy by the name of Shane Goldmacher, works for the New York Times. And the New York Times did a fascinating analysis. I want to show you guys this, okay, because I think this is very interesting. You know, Democrats keep talking about, we're going to come back into power, we're going to come back, and they could. They could. I'm not saying they couldn't take over the House in 2026. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. They could do it. Okay? But if they do, they're going to have to overcome at a bunch of disadvantages, and here's one of them. This tweet thread is from Shane Goldmacher from the New York Times. The Democrat Party is facing a voter crisis in red, blue, and battleground states alike, losing ground to the GOP everywhere. And this is a picture that he put up. Notice all these states in question. The Democrat registration advantage in those states is going down drastically. Okay, and I mean drastically. How bad is it getting? Well, here's a little bit more from Shane Goldmacher. 30 states plus the D.C. allow for partisan registration. Between 2020 and 2024, Democrats lost 2.1 million voters in those states, while the GOP gained 2.4 million. Okay? But as Goldmacher observes, that's just the start. By percentage, the Democrats went from a nearly 11-point edge over the GOP in 2020 to just a 6-point edge in 2024. Along the way, some states have flipped a GOP registration edge entirely. Florida, of course, but more big ones are likely coming. In Pennsylvania, the quintessential battleground state, Democrats had, emphasis on the word had, a registration advantage of 517,310 in November 2020. As of this summer, the registration advantage for Democrats is down to 53,000. In North Carolina, Republicans erased roughly 95% of the registration advantage that Democrats held in the fall of 2020. The Democrats' registration edge in North Carolina is down to just over 17,000. They had a registration advantage of almost 400,000 in 2020. Some have dismissed registration as a lagging indicator in the past, but in 2024, it proved prescient. Democrat weakness was concentrated where Trump was the strongest, among men and young voters. There are few better measurements of the party's brand than who actively chooses to identify and register with it, and fewer voters are choosing to become Democrats. I'm going to drop this in chat on both sides because, like I said, I found this fairly interesting. Now, like I said, no one knows exactly what's going to happen between now and November of 2026. Like I said, it is altogether possible that the Democrats could retake the House. Maybe if they get lucky, even retake the Senate. Okay? But like I said, if they manage to do it, they're going to have to overcome some serious disadvantages in the process. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens here. But I found that, like I said, I found it really interesting. So check it out at your leisure. Tell me what you think, and we'll talk about some more. Okay. One last story of the night, And this other one I think I want to say for Saturday. And yes, we are doing Front Porch Brunch this Saturday. So, have you guys heard that Bed Bath & Beyond, the company, is coming out of bankruptcy? That's great. Hopefully new stores will be opened up. Hopefully, they'll come out of it smarter, better organized, what have you, financially stronger, etc. But there is one thing that's going to happen with Bed Bath & Beyond going forward. They have made the decision not to open any new stores in the state of California. I got a story here from the New York Post. This will absolutely crack you up. Check this out, folks. Give me 1 second here and I'll get this thing pulled up. Headline: Bed Bath & Beyond says it won't open stores in California, quote, overregulated, expensive, and risky. Article by Taylor Herzlich. We have the following. Bed Bath & Beyond on Wednesday said it will not open stores or operate in California as it issued a scathing rebuke of the state's intense lefty policies. Marcus Liminas, executive chairman of Bed Bath & Beyond, said the decision isn't about politics, it's about reality. Quote, California has created one of the most overregulated, expensive, and risky environments for business in America, he said in a press release. Moving a bit further into the article. The result? Higher taxes, higher fees, higher wages that many businesses simply cannot sustain, and endless regulations that strangle growth. End of quote. The beleaguered chain has launched a return to retail after filing for bankruptcy and closing hundreds of stores for just two years ago. It cited a commitment to shareholders and, quote, common sense business practices as its reasonings for offering only e-commerce and delivery services in California. Leminis argued that California's strict regulations would force Bed Bath & Beyond to inflate prices in brick and mortar stores and make it impossible for them to guarantee long-term employment. In particular, he took aim at all intense worker protections like California's minimum wage hike as high as nearly $20 for the fast food industry, arguing that businesses can't handle the cost. A spokesman for Governor Gavin Newsom clapped back, like most Americans, we thought Bed Bath & Beyond no longer existed. We wish them well in their efforts to become relevant again as they try to open a second store, a spokesperson said in a statement to the Post. Now, laying aside the otherwise crappy response of Governor Newsom, which you would expect no less. Newsom's a punk. Okay? Have you guys seen him trying to troll Donald Trump lately? He is an absolute punk. Okay? But Bed Bath & Beyond is making a point, as are many people when it comes to California. They're overregulated. They are taxed too much. You cannot make any money if you're a business in California. And they've decided, forget it. We'll do online commerce out there, but that's about all we're going to do. So, I just think it's a very interesting statement. All right. Let's bring this train. Excuse me. Let's bring this train into the station. I want to thank you guys so much for being here tonight. You've been a load of fun as always. We're going to be back this Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. for Front Porch Brunch. So go ahead and spread the word to your friends. Get ready. Come on out Saturday morning. Let's have some fun. As always, thanks to WWG1. Thanks to Adam. Thanks to everybody who contributed memes tonight, Lana and others. We'll be back Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. Love you guys very much. And as we depart, don't forget to hit the like button. Leave a comment in chat. And if you've got friends who are subscribing to other places, send them a link to this channel. Ask them to subscribe. We are a small little going concern. Like I said, we want to be a going big concern. And everything you guys do is always a big help. So, as we depart tonight, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Thanks for being here for the Thursday Night Newsroom. We'll catch up with you guys later. See you Saturday morning. Bye-bye.